allow me to impose this upon you tonight. Look at somebody and say, neighbor. Don't lose what you have. Trying to get what you don't need. Get out of your seat and go backhand slap 8 folk and say, don't do it. You come up on your side. Preach with Jesus. Yes, we will. Look behind and tell your neighbor, say, don't do it. Clap your hands and be seated in the presence of the Lord. Don't lose what you've got trying to get what you don't need. You need to look beside you and tell your neighbor, say, don't do it. You got to understand, I'm going to take my time here just for a few moments. There's an assignment that God has given all of us. And with this assignment, he has anointed you. Look behind you and tell your neighbor, I've been anointed. The anointing in the Hebrew is the shekman. Some say shemen. It's the tangible presence of God. It's what we call substance. It's glory. It's a manifestation physically of a spiritual entity. The anointing is like grease. It's slick. It covers every area of your life. Snap somebody say it covers you. One thing about the anointing, it covers you Sunday to Sunday. I don't believe my anointing in the church on Sunday. But I take my anointing on Friday. That's why I can't club, I can't hold up, I can't lie, I can't chill, I can't steal. Snap somebody said, when you been anointed? Please sit down, please sit down, please sit down. That's not protocol to stand, but somebody speaking. The anointing is slick, covers every area of your life. It can't be rubbed off. It's often imitated, but never duplicated. Slap your neighbor, so I've been anointed. One thing about the anointing, its perfume is like an olive, but it only produces oil when it's crushed. Can you stop your neighbor and say, I've been crushed, but I thank God for the crushing. I thank God I was crushed. Thank God I stood y'all here. Thank God I was alive. Thank God I was ridiculed. Thank God I was ostracized. Thank God I was put out. Is there anybody that say, I thank God they left me for dead? Good God, yeah. They left me for dead, but God. Slap somebody, say, I've been crushed. But I've been thanking for the crushing. Jump on your feet and say, I'm thanking for being crushed. I'll take a seat here in a moment, I'll be done. The anointing is shepherd. Good God, yeah. It's a chapter. It will attract good and bad. It's something that will produce signs and wonder. It's multiply. It's intensify. Isaiah said it like this. Isaiah 10 and 27. He said the burden shall be taken off of your shoulder. Can you look at your neighbor, just wipe the shoulder one good time and say, get off my neighbor. The yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. So we find in the text tonight, we come from the book of Judges. Judges. I study y'all here. It takes his name of the 13 men that God raised up to judge Israel. He raises them up after Joshua is taken off the scene. Joshua was taken off the scene. So we have the book of Judges. Judges records the life of Samson. Samson's name in the Hebrew means a little son. It's something when your name argues with your reality. It looked like God called you blessed, but all I see is mess. Slap your neighbor and say, isn't that like you? God called you one thing, but reality says something else. So we find Samson's name means a little son. When he's born, he has a prophecy over his life. And I'm almost there. The prophecy was he would begin to deliver Israel out the hand of the Philistines. That's like you tonight. You were born in the earth. And when you are a threat, you're his target. Tell your neighbor, say my neighbor, on my worst day, I'm still a threat. Can I preach? Should I preach? Tell me to preach. Too late. I'm almost done. So we find in the text a man by the name of Samson. He's born as a Nazarite. And I'm a hurry here tonight. He's dedicated. He's consecrated. He's anointed. And he's appointed. At his birth, he was anointed to be a Nazarite. That means he could have no razor upon his head. He couldn't drink strong drinks. He couldn't drink liquor. He couldn't drink wine. He couldn't take anything that was unholy. But the Bible said after he was anointed, after he was appointed, after he was a judge 20 years, the Bible said he had a weakness. He had a weakness. Call women. Slap your neighbor and say the weakness. Call women. Oh, y'all not shouting. Have you ever noticed? Y'all ain't gonna help me preach. But preach I will. Have you ever noticed when you got a weakness, an issue, and a struggle, everybody will pinpoint your mess because they don't want to see that mess. But backhand slap your neighbor and say, back up off me, baby. Yeah. Open your mouth and say, yeah. Please sit down. Because I know some of y'all Negroes about to tip out on me. And that's what I'm going to tip out with you. Good God, yeah. Slap your neighbor and say, neighbor, like Samson, you got an issue. Samson's issue was women. Can I talk about the South? Because some of y'all Negroes got issues too. I've never seen church folk like church folk in this hour. They're self-righteous. Tell your neighbor, take off your robe. God didn't make you not judge. You have to tell some people, I might have done what they said I did, but I'm not who they say I am. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I might have done what they said I did, but I'm not who they say I am. A mistake is what you do, but it does not define who you are to become. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, yeah, I got an issue. You might have drank liquor. You might have y'all want to hear me preach? You know I'm talking about you. On the chat rooms, on the internet, drinking liquor, smoking cigarettes, got your eye on somebody else's husband.